Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. You are watching our coverage of ABC Collegiate Overwatch as Boise State is looking to wrap up their final few matches before they head into the postseason. Tonight, Boise State is going to be going up against Maryville, two very big names, battling it out against each other for seeding in the playoffs. So, without further ado, I'm your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Artemis Rain, calling all of the action for you here today. And Artie, like I said, this is a battle for seeding. Both these teams have already qualified for the playoffs, but this is also a very important chance to see, what Maryville has up their sleeve, because they're a top team.
It is, but at the same time, you got to think about it from the perspective, like you just said, both teams already qualified. So you don't per se want to pull the rabbit out of the hat right now and reveal all of your cards. In fact, theoretically speaking, the real game plan here would be play well, don't overdo it, and if you're not giving it 100%, that's okay, because if you don't go into the first round of playoffs against the top team, it gives you a little bit of extra leeway, whereas the higher the seeding, the harder the teams are that you're going to go against. So theoretically speaking, we could see a team that is not going no holds barred and treating this 100% and not holding back on anything. And we could see both teams taking a very different approach to this game and playing a little bit differently, just to, A, not reveal everything that they're going into playoffs with, and B, honestly understanding that it doesn't matter you win or lose. What really matters is where you end up in the seeding and what type of advantage you're trying to give yourself. Do you want to come out strong and be one of the top seeds, or do you want to give yourself a little bit of, buffer, so to speak, going into the playoffs?
Well, Boise State wants to win this match. They're going to have to follow Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch. And that's going to be to pummel your opponent. I think someone is a little bit too fond of a brawl composition, I'm just going to say off of that one. Play what you're good at, instill fear, and remember the objective is worth more than kills. It's brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. So as we look at the first control stage of this best of three, looks like we're going to be heading to Oasis first, if the screen behind me is to be believed.
Yeah, it is Oasis that we're going into first, so we'll have to see what both teams decide to pull out on this map. I'm looking for some environmentals, if possible, over by the cars. I love seeing that. I mean, on University, you can pull them off on the edge if people decide to go high ground. If I see people going high ground, getting booped or pulled off or spear spun off, and they do it again, and it happens again, I'm going to start questioning everything that I'm witnessing. And it looks like we're going to be starting out on Garden. So that back high ground is the key to control. Typically, a lot of teams will want to go post up there first and then drop down as needed to take control of the fight. But high ground control is always paramount. You can even let the point get claimed while you're battling for high ground control, because that means there's someone away from the team where there's a 5v4 happening on that high ground and can give you an advantage. Best of luck to both squads. Excited to see what you bring to the table.
Broncos versus Maryville, and we are going to be heading into the night. A little bit of reprieve from the absolutely punishing desert heat, and this doesn't quite look like Gardens to me, actually.
Nope, that is City Center. We are starting on City Center. So environmentals on car side would be funny.
I want to see some car hit a ragdoll instead of flying off into the horizon. Probably not going to happen. Right now, both teams are trying to fight over the high ground. See, Matt Mark has chosen to go onto the Winston. Plato gets hit with the anti-nade, but is able to tough his way through it. No picks for either team quite yet. Matt Mark's going to throw down his shield. He gets hit with the sleep dart. Is still able to survive through it. Boise State have been hit by their abilities, and that's the first picks. King and Trees both picking up one. Boise State looks like they're going to have to reset.
This is my first time getting to cast Tree as they've entered the college scene. Super excited. They're popping off. They definitely took that duel strongly against Plato. Sent them to the Shadow Run for a few moments. Broncos reconvening here in mid, planning to push, probably with an amp and a jump from Matt Merck, but we have to avoid getting slept out the gate and scattering the team. So hopefully Broncos have a game plan, trying to force Tracer recall here early to engage.
Bit of a Tracer duel. Oh, they were getting close to the cars. I wanted to see something happen there. Meanwhile, Boise State been trying to get back toward the point, trying to choose their route. Maybe catch one off in the high ground. Matt Merck's going to find himself peeled away from his team just a bit here. Boise State is already letting the point go past 40%. Matt Merck taking a whole lot of damage, moves back to the health pack. is now going to go and try to get the squishies. Moves back over toward the point. And Tree and King still picking up where they left off, taking out Boise State's backline. It seems all around there was just a bit of confusion on that push.
At this point, with the amount of time it's going to take for the Broncos to respawn, we are looking at last fight territory, and we're just getting pulse bomb. We've not seen any ults from the Broncos yet. Maryville's been hanging on to him. We see Tree pop that Deadeye as an opportunity just to ward off anybody they can. Manages to take down Plato, so that's another reset for the Broncos. Just a soft one, though, if they can manage to get a pick from people being overzealous here and frontlining coming out from the side of Maryville.
It's going to be a very crucial engage for Boise State as we're past 80%. It is do or die time. Boise State has both of their support ultimates. Matmark and Plato also getting close on there. Anthony Nate is going to be thrown out. Matmark going very low on health and taken out with the pulse bomb by King. Sound barrier is going to come out, but it's only going to go on to Clear and Bagel. Seems at this point no one from the Broncos is even going to be able to touch the point. One of them does, but Maryville has already taken out the rest of Boise State. That's going to be a quick round going over to Maryville.
They didn't even drop self-destruct. I wanted to see a big diva bomb.
And we can't. Well, I wanted to see car collisions too. We can't all get what we want.
Looks like Matt Merck is going to swap it over towards the Wrecking Ball. Now that is an opportunity to get environmentals over by the cars. But I digress. We got a Wrecking Ball Tracer Wombo combo. Pretty standard. My biggest concern is there's a lot of util being dumped by Maryville onto the Broncos, and it seems as though they're not responding fast enough or they're not planning around it to avoid it. Hopefully they fix their mistakes and things are a little bit more smooth sailing going into this second sub-map here on Oasis.
Capture the objective.
And we're ready to start. Boise State and Maryville slowly making their way toward the point.
I didn't even know this was open.
Surprising amount of detail for something so far off to the side. Looks nice.
Enemy here.
Meanwhile, we aren't going to be going over to Gardens. Library is the next stage. Pulse is already on the point. Taking out the Ramatra. Already down to half health. Chosen gets the first pick onto the back line of Maryville. Bagel follows that up with a pick onto Tree. UB is also going to find themselves hacked, and now the focus goes onto the Ramatra on point. Very low on health, but is just trying to tank it out. He's going to be taken down, and Boise State wins the first point.
And it looks like Matt Merck is on Tracer duty, trying to just force back the Tracer, making sure there isn't an opportunity to get another touch and stagger out point control. 10% is okay to give up. It's when you start hitting that 25-30% mark that things start to get a little concerning. We're equalized. Broncos now taking the lead here by 15.
Pulse is going to find themselves hacked by Clear. Plato now has charged up this pulse bomb, as has King. Mark finding themselves below half health. This poke damage is going back and forth. Plato is trying to go into the backline, find someone to put this pulse bomb on. It's gonna whip.
Oh, we stuck it on the wall. Then Anna got to half health, but the nade came in clutch, and Plato goes down.
Now Boise State, Matt Merck is going to be trying to do a bit of spin to win in restricted space. He's going to get focused on by this Diva, has to get away from that. Maryville has taken back the point from the Broncos.
We did have Kitsune Rush dropped onto point as well. Sounds like Joby and Bagel have both decided to use their beats. Bagel shortly after Joby, and now you have Matt Merck again, looking to take on these supports, gets that grenade from Cassidy. Manages to survive very close to ultimate as well, taking out Anna. This looks like an opportunity for the Broncos to play cleanup crew and stagger the rest of the Maryville line, but unfortunately Clear goes down.
Thanks to a sneaky retake by Matt Merck, Boise State is going to get themselves past 50%. Gonna have to reset for this next fight.
Oh boy. It was an honorable duel until the Tracer came in. Which King? I'm not saying you don't have honor, of course.
Hey, do what you can to win.
It's all the name of the game. You see a 1v1 happening, you come in and give your team the advantage.
Oh, Clear's gonna get caught out by this Tracer, is trying to survive through it, is gonna have to just teleport back. You have the minefield charged up for Matt Merck. Maryville also still holding on judiciously to their ults.
They're only 40% on that EMP, it's a little bit rough at this point. Pulse Bomb almost charged again for Plato. Bagel 50% on beat. Pulse is dropped. I believe that was King's. Did not find anything. Stuck to the stairs instead. We're going to engage with landmines. Cassidy pops ult. is getting hard DM'd by Diva to guarantee they don't die. But Matt changes course and goes for the backline. Tree picks up clear.
Now he's going to be trying to do this kind of do-si-do between the two levels that we saw him do last time. It's not going to help him pick up the point this time, as the rest of Boise State is just going to fall like dominoes. Play-Doh, Bagel, and Chosen all being taken out. Now we're in final fight. That mark is going to go rolling in. Oh! Well, that's going to put a dent in your spirits. He has to use his abilities trying to tank through that. Plato's trying to take down this Cassidy. He's going to move to a more flanky position, maybe try to take the high ground. There isn't much time for Boise State to work with. The overtime counter is ticking down. Chosen picks up their Tracer. King is down. Can Boise State keep the eliminations going? Plato is able to take out Tree. See Bagel providing a bit of support, is going to boost up that Lucio. And this Kariko Chosen is trying to take out this. Oh, Diva has to get away from the self-destruct.
No one touched. Oh, that was tragic. One thing that was really interesting, and we didn't see it start to come to fruition really until basically last fight territory. You could hear Tracer pinging because they start using the voice line over here. It means they're pinging someone. And typically when you're running that ball Tracer comp, your ball and your Tracer are your core unit of damage. They're the two that are diving onto people, getting them weak, or fully cleaning them up together. Like, they need to be working together, and we did not see a lot of that teamwork between those two until it was basically too late. So hopefully we don't see that again. Map 1, Oasis, 2-0 in favor of Maryville. Next map is going to be going into Hybrid. Probably Kings Row.
Probably, most likely, definitely, assuredly, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Oh, look! Look what it is. Well, at least it's nothing but dependable, I suppose.
Time to add numbers. The 6th loss for the Broncos. I am not caster cursing.
I can see you are in a very positive mindset.
I'm not trying to caster curse. I'm trying to do the thing where you reverse psychology on it.
Oh,
like, I'm
okay.
saying the Broncos are going to lose.
Double back reverse psychology.
So, like, it activates the trap card of because I said that.
Sure.
The other thing has to happen. I'm not going to put the other thing into the universe because the universe likes to really make sure I'm wrong when it comes to Overwatch stuff, as does production.
At least we're back in the classic Kings Row setting. Both stages, I have to say, are in nighttime for this particular match.
I prefer nighttime because the sun, for some reason, I don't know, they turned up the shader for it, the luminosity. It's disgusting. It's so bright. It's blinding, like normal sunshine. Tree goes down first to Matt Merck, who swaps over to Widowmaker, and we have Clear coming in, playing tank on the Ramatra, and Matt goes to the May after that first initial pick. Might be able to pick off one of the supports, but they're trying to pinch and take down False on the Ramatra. I don't know if they'll be able to do it. Haven't even used Immortality yet for the side of Maryville.
Boise State moving pretty fast onto that point. Already has one tick down. Is going to move past the second tick, and Maryville might let him have it. One final push. They get a peel off of the May wall. And is it enough? Can False be able to tank through Boise State's damage? False does get taken out by Chosen. Tree got an elimination onto Bagel, but I don't think it's enough to take back the point. Boise State claims it.
Time to play cleanup crew. It is just Tree, as well as Doobie, and I think one other, possibly King, left standing for the side of Maryville here on point 1. That's a long stagger for Doobie and for King. How are you? Doing quite well, May. How are you?
Always polite manners, no matter what the situation. Boise State now rounding the first corner, getting their way through Archway past that crucial choke point. Now Maryville is going to meet them. A few pings go out onto that. Ramatra is going to meet up with the rest of their team. They're also getting very close. They're down to low half health.
Oh, the Flank Dragon forces Immortality, but Plato has to run away, grab the Mega Pack. Most of the Broncos have separated, I think. Nope, they're still together playing that Brawl comp. Chosen did use Amp Matrix as well, so that's 2 ults and no trades coming out from Maryville. They didn't pop anything in response. They're going to have the opportunity to use Beat very aggressively if they so choose to do so. Sirius is going to pop the Amplification Matrix. Clear, still hanging on to that Annihilation.
Insane with all this damage going back and forth. No one from either team has fallen. Now the first picks go through. Plato and Chosen are eliminated. Matt Merck is given taking up space, just trying to regroup with the team, and Clear is going to int, and that means that Boise State, made about halfway to the first checkpoint, is going to have to regroup. They're going to have 3 ultimates to their name against Maryville's 4.
The scary thing is that Matt just got Blizzard Online, and King got it before Matt, and King swapped off Junk over to the May to match the Brawl comp. And there's a Deadeye pops just to fend off the Broncos a little bit longer. Does force him into a corner. We hear the May ult come out from King. Are we going to see the Yin and Yang in a secondary May ult? We will not. Matt goes down, but False Tree and Sirius are all eliminated.
The rest of Maryville falls. Boise State only has to spend a sound barrier for that, and now the payload moves forward yet again. Ultimately traded 1 for 2 in terms of the ultimates.
Hello.
Possibly
Hello.
Matt is
Greetings.
saving that May ult with the intention of using it to counter False's Annihilation.
See who pops the ultimate first if it is a counter to the Annihilation. Dragon's going to be sent out by Boise State. We use the sound barrier in response, and False taken out by Claire. A punch to the face. Boise State now trying to just get onto this checkpoint. There's a few more squishies to take out. This May is trying to tank it out on the point. Immortality Field goes up. Plato eliminates King. And some more punches is going to take out Tree. Both the DPSs are gone for Maryville. Just the supports remaining. One of them falls, and Boise State clears the next checkpoint and is moving on.
Over 4 minutes on the clock to cap 3rd point. The question is that enough time, and can they do it? They're the only ones that can answer that for me. Going into this next fight, we're going to have mirrors as far as Baptiste ultimates. First pop by Chosen to claim this corner lane. We're spotted by Sirius, so it's a null ult. False still has ult. Ooh! Plato picks up Tree, but Matt goes down shortly thereafter. There's the Annihilation from Ramatra. Don't think Broncos have anything to respond to it with other than turn and look and burn. But Plato goes down, Sirius finds Clear, and that's a reset for the Broncos.
Let's move the payload.
I'd say Plato has been quite... Oh, that's a rough stagger. Boise State has the time to deal with it, but they kind of looking past just standard time here into how much each team is going to go into overtime with. Plato has been such a constant threat on this Hanzo, consistently landing headshots and just taking out the squishies of Maryville.
And we hear King pop ultimate. Down goes Blizzard, down goes Clear. In response, Matt is forced to use Cryo Freeze, try to stay alive. He's going to be chipped down eventually. Tree finds Plato. Matt is down. That's another reset for the Broncos.
And all this time that they had is slowly being bled away. They're going to throw up the wall. Maryville trying to peel off one of the Broncos. Clear moves in, throws up the shield, rounding the corner. And slowly making ground for the Broncos. They're back to the payload. Maryville and Boise State has their Dragon Strike. Boise State is going to use it first. It's going to be dueling dragons, actually, both of them going out. Either team is going to fall to it. Clear has their Annihilation on a line. It's now moving slowly, and the Maywall is going to be able to get False. He's going to be able to tank through it. Actually, Clear gets him. Keen also falls. Juby's the next to go, and Boise State now is going to be able to round this next corner. It's going to be moving into final fight.
We have 2 massive control ultimates coming on the form of Annihilation as well as the Blizzard from Matt. Let's hope they don't pop both at the exact same moment unless they're on top of each other. As we hear Matt pop the ultimate, Clear pops his as well. Yeah, claiming those that are frozen in the Blizzard, forcing them off the point. Looks like this might be, yes, minute 46 seconds on the clock. Broncos will cap 3rd point.
Well, they do get the full 3 points, but they entered into this final section with more than 4 minutes, so 2 very convincing team wins for Maryville. It's going to leave the Broncos with probably not as much time as they wanted heading into overtime, but it's all going to depend on how well Maryville now does on their push.
All right, now hear me out. If they get Maryville sub 1 minute, we're talking like 30-second range. Broncos could have 2 minutes for their attack. About 90 seconds, though, gives you 2 good pushes. And one advantage of attacking in overtime first is that you can swap tanks, and it kind of gives you a slight advantage. That is what Maryville might have if they have less time, but if they have more time, they're on defense first, and that could give the Broncos, even, no matter what, we have roughly 2 fights here for them, could give them an edge with the low time bank of 90 seconds.
Boise State was able to claim the first point in just one fight. So should their general pace of play move forward, I mean, for the first half of their attack, Broncos really didn't fall to much of anything. Setup looks like still pretty much the same picks that we saw on attack. You see Hanzo was still out there. Plato's doing a really good job on that DPS. We're going to stick on the Ramatra. And off we go. They're going to start their attack. A lot of damage being put on to their spawn points.
No one's checking this. No one checked Hotel, and Plato just got free damage. Didn't pick anybody up yet, but wow, that was an unpunished angle. We do lose Matt Merck early, though, and we have forced immortality from both sides.
It's going to be a very quick take by Maryville. Clear is the next to fall, and Boise State Plato's trying to do all that he can to get one pick. The only pick is going to be in the favor of Chosen as Maryville moves fast onto the point, and it could be a very severe stagger if Bagel can't get away. He's being surrounded by Maryville. Boise State is able to respawn and move back to his support. I think he's going to touch the point, try to stall it out for the Broncos.
Does get just a little bit of a foot on it. Allows the rest of the team to come in. Both walls dropped. Chosen's Immor is popped early. Chosen coming up on that Amp Matrix. Cannot keep Clear alive. Broncos need to get another touch, and they need to get control now, or they're going to lose it. They do. And now it's stagger time as we've lost Batmerk and Chosen.
Plato also moves in, is going to do the full team reset. Maryville starts to get their first pushes. They're going to make their way past Archway off of that one. Both Amp Matrixes are up. The Annihilation just came online for False, and Blizzard also available. In fact, not everything's available for Maryville right now. So Boise State is just going to maybe try to be looking to just leave the ultimates off where they can.
There's a daily and weekly challenge called Me Win Button. It's using your ultimate 15 times, and we're about to see why it's called that.
First ultimate is used. Annihilation. Clear taking a whole lot of damage, is able to survive. Both teams are going to be using their sound barrier. Amp Matrix is dropped by Maryville and Boise State, and Clear on his Annihilation is going to be able to pick up a double. Despite 4 ultimates being used by Maryville, Boise State is hanging in there.
I think the call is take this May out of cryo, and it looks like Bagel came in from the higher ups to help out. It is Fear frontlining with little support. Lucio finally caught up. Broncos disengaging to full reset together. Bagel's going back to Taxi as well. We're going into a Dragon May ult, and we have Dragon and May ult on the side of the Broncos. Clear just barely leading an ult charge for the Annihilation.
A lot of punching going out for Clear as Boise State tries set up. They're actually going to use the Dragon Strike first, not in combination. I think both Dragon Strikes have been used by Maryville and Boise State. Neither picks up anyone. It's going to force out some Immortality fields. And there goes Blizzards. And Matt Merck is able to stick through and take out False. Now they're just trying to take out this Baptiste. Got him. Boise State, slowly but surely, bleeding a lot of time out from Maryville.
Plato went on an adventure to be able to swing through mid after grabbing a health pack.
Oh, he gets another.
With the recon dart, too, so it's giving away everyone's location.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Beautiful. That means go back. You can't lose your Baptiste to go in with just a Lucio. I don't care how close you are to ult.
This is a lot more ultimate charge given over to Boise State as they find 2 more eliminations. Maryville goes back for the reset. Now we're starting to get in some interesting territory time-wise. Boise State is almost just needs to leave 1 more minute off of Maryville for all things to be equal. Although it technically isn't equal because Maryville still has a lot farther to push. Oh, that's great. Maywall False is out by himself, but the rest of the team comes to his defense. He is moving. Annihilation now online for Boise State. They're going to be using the Dragon Strike first. Maryville doesn't have any ultimates available, although this sound barrier is just online. Annihilation now popped by Maryville in conjunction with the sound barrier. Amplification Matrix run out for Boise State, trying to put as much damage as they can onto it. Clear is hanging in there, and False and Joby are going to be the ones to fall. Maryville using their 2 ultimates just as they came online, but Boise State managing to find the full team wipe.
Ooh, that was chaos.
Whew. Sometimes, there's a lot of visual effects in this game.
Yeah, it gets a little overstimulating at times, but
Enemy over here.
we love it nonetheless. That's why we keep playing. With that being said, we might see dueling males again. The question is King going to throw theirs second and throw it behind the Broncos, or the Broncos going to, or will King throw theirs first, as they're making a full rotation over towards phone booth to get a different angle and flip the point, making it look like Broncos are on the offense now. As they pop Ant Matrix and back the Broncos into a corner. First, the males pop just to keep everyone at bay and give the Broncos a little bit of extra breathing room.
Clear is just tanking it out. Amplification Matrix wears off. Maryville still has their Blizzard to use. Immortality Field thrown down, taken out by King. Broncos forced off the point with that Blizzard, but 2 of them are going to find themselves frozen and fall. Clear and Matmerk go. Bagel is next. Plato might just try to end here or lead off just a slide amount of time. Still manages to pick up one.
That flick was beautiful.
Plato's kind of playing out of his mind this time on the Hanzo, and now Boise State. You know, if they win 1 or 2 team fights here, they're going into overtime with the time advantage. Shots being exchanged around the first corner. Boise State has charged up their Amp Matrix as well. Chosen's going to find himself walled off. The Amp Matrix is going to fall down. Dragon Strike also available. Plato's going to hold on to it just for right now because Boise State is pretty convincingly winning this team fight. Is putting a stagger also onto False. He can't get away. This is a very staggered out Maryville.
So one thing you got to keep in mind with these ultimates is what is your go button? And for the Broncos, it was that Maywall. That early Maywall gave them the go-ahead to use that Ant Matrix to claim that corner. It was beautifully executed because they knew that they could use speed after that to take down any form of any immortality that might have been popped. But that was the line of defense towards using that immortality, towards using the Ant Matrix. We have Dragons popped, and Tree, who actually swapped to Cassie off the Hanzo, goes down quickly after popping Deadeye.
Clear Stayer hanging on to this Annihilation as well as Matmerk on the Blizzard. He's going to move in. Another Maywall attempts to go up. We see Sound Barrier being used by both teams and the Blizzard and Amp Matrix. A lot of Qs being pressed. Clear still hangs on to that Annihilation, but this fight is going on a long time. We're down to 40 seconds. Maywall thrown up. It's going to be able to peel anyone off. Maryville's closest they have is this Blizzard that's going to be coming online pretty soon. Boise State has their Amp Matrix and Annihilation. There goes the Amp Matrix. It gets walled off!
They didn't wait patiently. The difference with the Amp Matrix we saw from Sirius is that it was behind the corner on the attacker's side, so it didn't claim that whole angle, whereas the Broncos are putting it at that corner and pushing forward with it, so they're able to lock down both angles at the same time. Clear gets sub 50% health. We're going to use Immortality, keep him alive. There's our defensive Maywall possibility here after using slow for the Broncos to re-engage using Clear's ultimate, but King is going to respond first and use the Mayult.
Lil Stair hangs on to the Annihilation. There is enough time for the Broncos to reset. But it is going to have to be a very quick retake.
But this is going to be rough. They're going into soon-to-be Ant Matrix, Dragons, as well as False's Annihilation. They need to get onto the point, but they're being boxed in. Force the May cryo. Now is the time to get on. Clear is going to engage that Annihilation. May can die here. Does. King and Joby both sent to the respawn.
Broncos could end it right here, right now. No overtime needed. They're able to take out the Immortality Field. False is the next to fall, and Boise State is going to win that one 3-2. We're heading into game 3.
It worked. That's all I gotta say. It worked.
You know, it was interesting. You know, you were talking about that achievement. You know, the me win button. I was going to say, you know, with the way Boise State played against multiple engagements where Maryville had the ultimate, it should be amended to me win sometimes button because
yes.
Boise State played through 4 ultimates that Maryville used. I mean, they were trading very well in terms of the ultimates that they had.
It was also horrifying when we'd see dueling dragons, dueling males,
Yes.
dueling Ramatra ults. It was, oh, that's overstimulation. But, I mean, in theory, you see one person pop the ult, you have the mirror ultimate, you pop it, so you coin both, and you've equalized. Both are probably getting the same amount of utility. However, it was just the placement of said ults that helped the Broncos there. We saw Matt throwing it into the backline first, having amp speed from Bagel to go in, and that allowing him to be the dominant Mei in the Mei mirror. And then with the amplification matrix coming out from the Baptiste, it was all about the angle lockdown and placement of it. The bat from the side of Maryville was pushing it too far back, not locking down a solid lane with it, and instead was giving their team like this tiny little 60-degree angle, whereas we had chosen swing an entire corner and lock that entire corridor down using it.
So to decide everything, we move on to Junkertown. Boise State versus Maryville. Two teams that are no doubt maybe might meet each other in the postseason, but this is a very important game to decide seeding. Boise State and Maryville. I'm just trying to get a look at the general silhouettes that we see here. I do believe we see a Sigma being brought out by defense.
This is one of Sigma's strongest maps as a tank, so if we don't see Sigma, at least from one team, it's a little concerning. Looks like both teams are rolling out on the Sigma as we lost the entire shader for the spawn room for a moment. Activision Blizzard, small indie company. That was perfect. Looks like Broncos are on offense first.
Plato still on this Hanzo. Wanting to get those headshots. He's been great on the flick so far. Maryville King has decided to go over to the other Shimada brother. Find himself a good amount of ult charge. Third of the way there.
What's really funny is that whenever one of these DPS show their heads, they instantly get a Discord on them. And then the other, then Jovi, the other Zenyatta, has to put the Harmony Orb on them. So they're walking around always with what look like little purple and yellow antennas on them.
Boise State is holding Maryville so far at this choke point. Throwing out the shield. Maryville is split between the ground and upper levels. In terms of ult charge, Matt Burke has been moving back. That could be a crucial pick onto Bagel. It's not the main healing gun for the Broncos, and Plato still has a few tricks of their own. They're going to be able to get the pick onto Juby. So both Zens are going to fall in that engage. Maryville making their way slowly around the corner.
Matt did pop Tracer Pulse Bomb. We have Amp Matrix, so it's going to zone out Sirius. And the blink through with the melee comes in strong. Sirius and Tree both fall.
Maryville getting pushed back. A little bit of a hi, how are you from King. He's getting very close on his ult. Dragon Strike also now online for Maryville with their Amp Matrix. Plato also getting close to his Dragon Strike, so we could have the dueling dragons yet again. There goes one, and it's able to take out Clear. Matt Merck is the next to fall, and with Boise State's tank down, they're going to be moving back. Plato unable to survive that. That's the first checkpoint taken for Maryville.
And that's one Genji deflect kill so far. Lift Blade Trance coming in for Maryville first. We have Dragon, Lift basically, and almost Trance for the side of the Broncos. Could see a Lift Dragon, but the issue is that Transcendence and the Immortality. They need to find a way to force out both or one of them. Most likely looking to get Tracer to force out the Zenyatta ult, but Matt Merck is already down, so that is a null point for this fight.
A great accretion, though, is going to be taking out King. He still has his Gravitic available. He's going to be using it up and then down. Gravitic is answered back by the Transcendence, so Maryville is going to be able to take their way through that one.
We use Lift and Dragons, unfortunately, to no avail to try and clean up. Definitely a fault of the Broncos for not properly tracking that Zen ultimate and having Matt Merck alive to make sure it was taken care of.
They're going to be trying to get this Hanzo. In goes Matt Merck. He hasn't had a half health. We see the Orb of Harmony being placed onto him by Maryville. They're going to use their own Gravitic. Boise State decides to use their Transcendence in response to that. There goes the Genji Blade, taking out the Immor Field.
Ooh! King got 2. Matt Merck, though, responds, taking out 3. We get the 4th. Plato got it. With the Sonic arrow, too.
Doesn't surprise me that we're seeing Matt Merck do very well on Tracer. I mean, his main thing is the Wrecking Ball, which is the most mobile tank hero. So, you know, he just likes those kind of fast-paced ones.
The really annoying hero.
Yeah, yes.
Let's be honest.
The ones that can get away in a flash. And then you feel like all the work that you've done is for nothing, which it is. Few pings going out. Matt Merck is going to find himself taken out by False. Apparently, they did not want to deal with that annoying hero anymore.
Don't blame him one bit. King is going to be the one to push apart and get a little extra space as the rest of the team is in the high grounds. Plato and Bagel both fall. Chosen goes down as well. And it is just Clear left standing, and Clear is sent to respawn. Looks like Matt's going to look to get a last-second touch in here, praying the team has the opportunity to catch up. The issue is most of the Broncos are pretty slow, so I think it's not in the cards to get a touch here. Yeah, it's not. Matt backed up.
It's been a pretty similar pattern, about 2 or 3 team fights taken by Boise State per section of this map. Maryville is going to have 3 minutes to make the final U-turn. There was a few accretions back and forth between Boise State and Maryville. Plato trying to find one of those crucial headshots. Gets one onto the Tracer, but Dragon Strike thrown out by Maryville. Doesn't pick up anyone for Boise State.
Tree did that to force them all up a fidget spinner onto low ground, give them equal playing field here. We see dueling amplification matrices as well as immortality already expelled. Now is the opportunity for a lift. Goes down, down goes False, and down goes Sirius.
1 minute now just about burned off from Maryville's time. Can they get a stagger? Tracer's going to be able to get away, and Boise State is just going to take what they can get. They now charged up their own Flame Strike, has the Pulse Bomb available. Maryville is also getting very close to their own Gravitic, so they just might have the engaging ultimate, and this Transcendence has just come online, so that's going to be a good job in negating any sort of quick burst damage from this bomb or Dragon Strike.
Currently praying that Bagel gets some intense volley damage here quickly to counter False's ult. 5% lower than False, now 7%. This is a risky situation for the Broncos, especially with Clear being as low as he is. Dueling it out against the Sig, forces the kinetic forces the accretion. Still maintaining control of Fidget Spinner though.
Boise State, now they're just 5% off. The Gravitic has not been used by Maryville, and Boise State now has Transcendence online. Very crucial stall by the Broncos. Oh, but Bagel.
Yep, there's a free lift. False uses it. We hear Immortality get popped. Matt Merck goes down shortly after Bagel. Sirius gets low, but is going to live. Plato takes a Discord and has no choice but to disengage and grab a health pack. Chosen and Clear die on card. That's a 1-second reset there for the Broncos. Now the question is, Matt used Pulse, did not force the trance from the Zen. So that means this Dragon's lift needs to be done perfectly. They need to pick their target and eliminate them, force the immortality early. Never mind, we're going to use Dragons to get a space to engage.
Boise State now moving in. Amp Matrix is thrown out, and Sirius uses it to take out Plato very fast. Boise State at this point, it could just be a stall game, and then Dragon Strike from Maryville goes out. They didn't even need to use that Transcendence. Just one in more field. Yeah, the Transcendence, just an emote on point. 25 seconds left for Maryville, should this go into overtime.
To 3. Switching sides.
No matter if we go into OT, that means Maryville will have 1 minute on the clock minimum, as 25 seconds gets upped to the 1 minute mark.
I gotta say, it was probably the most anticlimactic way that could have ended, because we were so focused on, is Clear going to be able to charge up the trans, and then he just, gets taken out immediately.
Yeah, it was tragic.
All right, Boise State is now going to have their opportunity to push. Will they be able to beat the time that Maryville has set forward?
You left the motorcycle intact, Maryville?
For shame.
Dishonor. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow. Unacceptable. It is a ritualistic process for all Overwatch players. You must destroy absolutely everything that you can in the spawn before the doors drop. I said what I said.
We'll see if Boise State, are they being just as passive as Maryville?
I think they are, and that's dishonor.
this whole game is just... That is also some very precarious building, I gotta say, for that spawn building.
Oh,
Remember Doug Dimmadome's precariously perched cliffside estate?
yes.
All right, King has moved on to the Widow. Boise State is going to bring out the Sojourn themselves.
Yep, another strong map for the Widow. Plato on Soj, though. I like that choice. Bagel's forced into playing the pocket healer onto Mercy. Plato goes down early. He's going to get res as we use the kinetic grasp just to try and ward off some damage. Clear is going to manage to stay alive. Force back. Plato dies again! Bro!
All that for that.
Your Mercy just rezzed you!
Boise State Clear's going to try to stay on point thanks to that MR field, but he's taking so much damage right now. He's going to be pocket healed by that Mercy. Plato's now going to make his way back onto the field again. And he gets taken out immediately again.
Bro, and Plato rezzes.
Okay, he's rezzed again. Okay, come on. Fourth time's the charm.
I didn't even count down 5 seconds! Bro!
It might need to, you know, reevaluate some life decisions at this point.
Oh my god.
Boise State stumbling and fumbling just a bit here. Plato has respawn. It's only 36% on his ult. The bare minimum, whereas everyone on Maryville is past 80%.
We call that playing Respawn Simulator. It happens to all of us eventually as we have Chosen go down to the Widow in the flux. Sirius goes down. Bagel Rez is Chosen. Matt Merck goes down to Joby. We're equal as far as manpower, but we're going to... Tree is forced to use Dragons in order to try and equalize things out because Sirius did go down. We're then going to follow up with Trance. Lick didn't find anything because of that Trance. And their sights, wall hacks activated for the next 30 seconds unless that Widow somehow magically dies.
He is standing right on top of that water tower as well. Clear's going to find himself stunned. Valkyrie now out for Bagel. And Matt Merck's going to find himself taken out by Tree. Plato is able to take out Joby. So far, Boise State is making slow progress on this push.
Plato goes down again. I don't think we're going to see the mistake of a res onto Plato. Nope, we know the Widow's camping it. Did find Sirius though. Chosen, cleaned up, took down the...
Just what I was looking for. I want that payload moving.
Oh god. There's a Haunter right on your high right, Plato.
Is he gonna spot it out?
A threat emerges.
No! Another great round of Respawn Simulator for the Broncos. Got it on Steam sale, very cheap. Man, Broncos just aren't able to break through at all.
Credit where credit is due. Maryville is a contenders team, so they are quite the opponent.
And they are definitely showing that.
Honestly,
That's the stuff.
I don't know why Broncos didn't swap off of this spam comp. I understand why we have Sigma, but this Widow has gone uncontested, basically. We sent Tracer in, but there was 2 people protecting the Widow in that moment. There was no one else alive for the Broncos, so there's nothing that could be done. Dragons gets popped from Tree to ward off the Broncos, splitting off Clear. There's the lift. It's gonna find Chosen, who drops Immor, falls before he even hits the ground. Tree goes down to Plato. Matt Merck and Clear go down as well. We have to get a touch on this point, and we don't. Broncos will lose Junkertown to Maryville.
Well, they were able to get it to a full 3 games, but ultimately Maryville is going to win that one. Still, as we said, both teams have qualified for the ABC Finals, so no doubt that they will continue on their journeys and Maryville will get the higher seeding. Now we give our opportunity to give a shout out to one specific player. You know, I have to say, even though Plato had a very rough time on that Sojourn, I'm saying everything before that on the Hanzo is really good.
Honestly, I got to give it to Plato here. Popped off on King's Row, like, would vanish from our line of sight, swing around a corner magically behind the enemy team, and, you know, just eliminate people left and right. So, Plato, you're getting my vote. You did a great job. I really do try to sometimes give it to tanks and supports, but sorry, just supports is really hard.
Well, I mean, Matt Merck was on Tracer there for the final game, so maybe you could find 3 plays that he made and technically give a play of the game to the tank player.
See, I would give a play of the game to, I would give player of the game to Bagel in one circumstance, and that would be hitting the Valk and going full Hurricane Katrina mode on that Widowmaker and just using Matt Merck as an anchor to come in and, like, homing beacon down on that Widowmaker. But I did not see that happening. Like, I get it. King is very scary. It's a Widowmaker. But I saw no attempt at the Hurricane, so I'm just giving it to Plato.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. I am just trying to think of any other stages. Did you see anything on Oasis that could change your prediction?
Not so much. I mean, Chosen did do a great job on the Baptiste, but there was a lot of instances where the kills happened, unfortunately, out of our line of sight, so I don't know how intense the duel was that was going on in those instances. Support hero, by the way. That is all I got. Baptiste is...
So it's like you said once. It's you know, Baptiste is. You said the experience of Baptiste is I'm going to shoot at the other opponent, and if you happen to get in my line of sight, I might heal you.
Yeah, Yep. Finally, took 3 weeks, got one right. It is Plato for player of the game.
Congrats to Plato for claiming that. Like we said, his Hanzo play was absolutely bonkers on King's Row. And he gets the player of the game, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like how Idaho Central helps members achieve financial success. Plato is your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. You know, there are just moments like this where he was just able to just get one shot. Even in one moment here where he was going up against a full-strength team in Maryville, he would still, even if he was like 4-on-1, he would still manage to always trade for one.
I think this is the flick. Yeah, this is
what
moment.
I was talking about.
Trees just like, what? I adore that. We both called that where it's like, not much you can do here. You're probably just going to die. But you showed us wrong, Plato. You got to trade, so nicely done.
So as we prepare to close out our match, do you have any final takeaways?
Positioning of ultimates is really important.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Well, Idaho Army National Guard is going to be the ones bringing you the top 5 plays of the game, and they invite you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. That's going to do it for us tonight, though. We hope you enjoyed the match and enjoy your top 5 plays. Have any ultimates available, although this sound barrier is just online. Annihilation now popped by Maryville in conjunction with the sound barrier. Amplification Matrix run out for Boise State, trying to put as much damage as they can onto it. Clear is hanging in there, and False and Jovi are going to be the ones to fall. Maryville using their 2 ultimates just as they came online, but Boise State managing to find the full team. The Orb of Harmony being placed onto him by Maryville. They're going to use their own Gravitic. Boise State decides to use their Transcendence in response to that. There goes the Genji Blade, taking out the Immor Field.
Ooh! King got 2. Matt Merck, though, responds, taking out 3. We're about to see why it's called that.
First ultimate is used. Annihilation. Clear taking a whole lot of damage, is able to survive. Both teams are going to be using their sound barrier. Amp Matrix is dropped by Maryville and Boise State. And Clear on his Annihilation is going to be able to pick up a double. Still has their Blizzard to use. Immortality Field thrown down, taken out by Keen. Broncos forced off the point with that Blizzard, but 2 of them are going to find themselves frozen and fall. Clear and Matt Merck go. Bagel is next. Plato might just try to end here or lead off just a slide out time. Still manages to pick up one.
That flick was beautiful.
Say try set up. They're actually going to use the Dragon Strike first, not in combination. I think both Dragon Strikes have been used by Maryville and Boise State. Neither picks up anyone. Going to force out some Immortality Fields. And there goes Blizzards. And Matt is able to stick through and take out False. Now they're just trying to take out this Baptiste.